Welcome to video 7 of tasks in Scala. Today we're going to be talking about case classes. The task that you will be able to do after the video is to create a checker for quiz answers and the corresponding quiz, but you don't have to do that in code. We're going to talk about classes and case classes. So we already talked about classes, but we're going to go into it a little bit deeper. You already know that if you have a class, then you can create a class instance from that, and we call that an object. So let's just create a class right away. A city has a city name and a country name of the corresponding country, and we can, for example, create a function in our class city that is greetings from city, and this will print an interpolated string and says greetings from city name in country name, something very simple. Let's test this with the city I am in right now, Esteli. We create a new city which has a city name Esteli and the corresponding country name is Nicaragua. And then we can call this function on the class instance that we made. So we say Esteli dot greetings from city. And it says exactly what you would expect. Now note, the city name and the country name are the parameters of this class. And if we don't put val or var in front of the parameters, that means that they are private, and that means that they are only visible to the class, so you cannot access them from outside. So let's write this down first. Parameters are private if they don't have var or val, it's quite difficult to pronounce, in front of them. And that means that they are only visible to the class. So what does that mean? For example, let me just run it again because this unit was a little bit in front of the other code. For example, if I would want to grab the city name from Esteli, I could try to do it like this. Esteli dot city name. Let's run this and see what it says. Value city name is not a member of playground.city. So the compiler has no idea what city name is because they are not allowed to see it. Only city itself is allowed to see city name. That's why within this function we were able to use city name. Okay, so let's just comment this out because we cannot use it anyway. Now, if the parameters have the var or the val, then they are public. So let's see this in a new class. We create a class person and we're gonna say val name and var city. So this means that the name is immutable and the city is mutable because it's a var. I'm not going to add any functions to this, so this is actually a valid class. Let's try this out for me. I am a person. My name is Elena and I'm currently living in Esteli. Now we can see that for this class, the name and the city are publicly accessible. Let's try it out. We're gonna say print elena.name, and it printed my name. Whereas here, it said that it didn't know what city name was. And the same holds for city, only that it will print this weird ID. As we talked about before, we did not give the class a proper print method, so it will just print whatever it knows, which is this kind of weird ID. Now we could change our city class a little bit and, for example, make this into a val, and then we could try to grab the city name on the city to have something better that's printed, and it prints Esteli. You can see that this immediately changes the workings of this parameter. This is what we would call a getter. If you're just grabbing the information from the class, that's a getter. There is also a setter, which we can use on a variable. Let's say that I'm going to move to Berlin. We're going to create the city Berlin first. The name is Berlin and the country name is Germany. And then we're going to set the city of Elena to Berlin. We do it as follows. Elena.city is Berlin. And let's just print the city name once again, just like we did over here. And then you see that the first time it's printed, it's Esteli, and the second time that it's printed, it's Berlin. You get these getters and setters automatically when you use var or val. Let's talk about a very special type of class, which is called case class. They have two interesting properties. The first one is immutability, and the second one is that we can use pattern matching very easily on them. And this is nothing more than just a special type of class. So it is a class, they just gave it some tweaks and now it's a case class. Let's just create one. We're gonna create a case class country, which has a name. Now you're gonna see something that I mentioned in the previous video. I want a space over here because that is how my code formatter would do it as well. So it just looks like cleaner code to me. We're gonna give this country a function, which is greeting from country. And that will print something easy, an interpolated string. I hope you know that word by now. I think it sounds so cool and we've been using it all the time. Interpolated string. Hi from name. Well, actually, let's just give it the country name, because if I give all the values name, it's gonna be confusing. I'm just gonna call it country name. Did I make a typo? I don't think so. Okay, now we can create, for example, the country Nicaragua. Oh, it's of the type country. And we can create it like this. Country, Nicaragua. Note that I did not put the new keyword here. That's special about a case class. And we're also going to create the Netherlands, which is also a country. And once again, we don't have to write the new, so that's special about it. We don't have to write new. And the other thing is that parameters are public and immutable. But note that I did not write anything in front of this value, in front of this parameter. I did not write val, I did not write var, but still the parameters are public and immutable. This is really what the compiler is interpreting. But you just get that for free. Okay, let's just try it out. We're gonna get the greeting from Nicaragua, greeting from country. Hi from Nicaragua. And then we can check that the parameters are indeed public by trying to get the country name and print it. Perfect. And then finally we can check that the parameter is indeed immutable by trying to change the country name, and that should fail. So what if we want to change it to Costa Rica? It's saying reassignment to val, which is not possible. Let's delete it quickly. On case classes, you can do easy pattern matching. Let's try that in the function that's called colors of flag, and we're gonna match on a country. So the input is a country, the output will be a string, and we're gonna take the country and match it. We match it as follows. Country Nicaragua. If this is the case, then we're gonna say it's blue and white. Oh. If the case is the Netherlands, the second time, then it's red, white, and blue. And if we have any other case, then we're just gonna say sorry, I don't know. Yes. Let's test this for the Netherlands. Colors NL. We're gonna take colors of flag of the Netherlands. Did I create the Netherlands already? Yes, I did. Okay, good. And then we print those colors. And it prints red, white, and blue. So it indeed matches to the second case, country, the Netherlands. And then we can also try it with a country that's not Nicaragua or the Netherlands. Then we create quickly India. And we're gonna print the colors of flag India. I didn't create a new val in between, but you understand how it works. And it says, I don't know. A little comment in between. You might wonder, why don't I write India or Nicaragua with a capital letter? But typically you will write values and variables in lowercase. If I would write it in uppercase like this, it would not look like a variable or a value to me. And that is just convention. So it's just convention to always start with a lowercase letter. Also for functions, you've probably already seen that. I never start a function with an uppercase letter. That's just a small little detail in between. Especially with the countries. Of course, I write a country with a capital letter as their name, but then as a value over here, I write it with a lowercase letter. Okay, that's just a small comment in between. The convention is to write names of values or variables or functions starting with lowercase letter. Now let's check out another case class and some more pattern matching that we can do on that. We're gonna create a case class animal with a name and an animal type, which we're also gonna pass as a string. And this is all. We're not gonna give it any function right now, and we just create two class instances, two objects. First of all, Oli, my amazing roommate, and cat. And then Sammy, my mom's dog, animal. Her name is Sammy and she is a dog. Now we can create a function is cat, and we pass an animal, and we're gonna do some pattern matching on this. We say animal match in case that we get some name and the type is cat, then we're gonna print the name is a cat. So note that here I just put an N. I did not have to put name because I'm just saying I'm creating this variable and I'm plugging in the value that I find in the input. Okay, so it's just matching whatever comes in, puts it in the N, and then we can use it afterwards. And here we're matching to a specific value. And the second case would be that we have an animal with a certain name and it's just of any other type. And then we're gonna print that name is not a cat. I'm gonna put a heart here. Any input of animal that comes here will either be a cat or it will not be a cat. And then we covered all our cases, right? So let's just check whether Oli is a cat. Oli is a cat. And let's check whether Sami is a cat. This is a very important check. Sami is not a cat, indeed. Now we can do another pattern matching, which is even more specific. We can create the function isKitten, and we pass on an animal, and separately we pass on the age. Okay, now we're going to match on both of them. So we're going to make a tuple on the fly of the animal and the age, and we're going to match on both of them at the same time. So we say, well, if we receive an animal with a certain name and it is of type cat, and the second part of the tuple, namely the age, is equal to 0, then this is a kitten. So we're going to print something like the name is a kitten. That's so cute. That's so cute. Now for the second case, I'm going to pull out the animals that are cats but are not kittens. So this is animal with a name. It's a cat and it has any other age than 0. Then we're going to print is not a kitten but a cat. And then there's another case in which we have an animal with a certain name and of some other type and of some age, but we don't care about that information, so we just put in the underscore at all the other places except for the name. And then we're going to print is not a kitten and not a cat. So we're just giving some more specific information, right? So we can just try that with isKitten. Oli is 0 years old. Oli is a kitten. Exactly. Now if I would put 1, then it's going to say Oli is not a kitten but a cat. I'm just going to change it because that's totally incorrect. And now we're going to ask ourselves, is Sami a kitten? I don't know exactly what Sami's age is. I'm just going to put in 8. Sami is not a kitten and not a cat. Very true. Truth has been spoken. Okay, that was all. Now we're going to go back to the task for you today. You're going to create a checker for quiz answers. This is going to consist of 3 different parts. Let me paste them here. Oh, now I removed that other line. Sorry. Step 1. Come up with 3 quiz questions and their correct answers. So this has nothing to do with code, okay? But that is just to start off. Number 2, create a quiz answers case class that works for your quiz. What I mean by that is that the types of the answers have to correspond with what the answers on your question should be. And then finally, you're going to create the function that's the real checker, and it's going to get 2 inputs: the name of the person who gave the answers and the answers of that person. You're going to create a congratulating message to a winner and a soothing one to a loser. I'm very curious what kind of quiz you're going to create. Have fun, good luck, and I'll see you in the next video.